Welcome food fans, picky eaters, the flavor curious, and everyone in between. Nothing makes good food better than good conversation, and your table is ready. Welcome back to another episode of the Food For ThoughtCast with your hosts, Melissa Reagan and Steven Gonzalez, but you can call them Chef. All right, let's get this episode started.
Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for ThoughtCast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the mostest, Chef Steven Gonzalez. What's up, Steve?
Hola, buenos dias.
Hola, buenos dias. We are honored to do our second fan feature ever. Yes. Today, joining us is a dear friend of mine and fan of the show. Thank you so much for listening, Melissa Thomas. What's up, Melissa?
Good morning. Yay. Thanks so much for having me on this morning.
Of course. I badgered her and pestered her until she finally lost her resolve, and then she gave in. So,
because I hate talking to people.
she absolutely hates it.
I hate conversation. I hate talking to people.
Melissa has a Substack that we'll let her plug later, and I think she's making the podcast rounds as of late. So, congratulations!
Thank you very much. Yes. That's why what are we talking about? Because I talk about different things.
100%.
So, yes.
100%. But first, Steven. What was the most amazing thing you ate this week?
Well, I don't know if this would, it counts, but there's a little story behind it. So at work yesterday, we had a chili contest. Now, initially, I was under the impression I was going to be a judge and I wasn't allowed to compete. Not a problem, given my background. So I made a pot of chili for everyone to taste because I want everyone to try a bunch of different types. Now, you would think like a building with 600 people, how many entries do you think would probably take place when we've been promoting it for a month? Let me ask.
40, maybe.
Okay, Melissa, what do you think?
I'm gonna say maybe 15. I'm thinking that number's a little lower.
So yeah, again, I thought maybe there was going to be a lot of entries. 4. Mine.
Wow.
So I made my Texas chili. I put my cornbread on top. And, it's almost like it was not fair because I ended up winning. I got the most votes. But, I'll take that. But my chili was out of this world. The other 3 participants made some killer chili. There was one that had like a lot of like New Mexico chilies, things like that. There was one that was just like a campfire chili, like hearty and delicious. And then there was another one that had like a lot of, it was very tomato based in the crock pot. And you know what? It was very delicious too. So I'll say the most amazing thing, chili.
4 types of chili. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, I was lucky. What about you?
I love that. I finally found, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I'm not going to name this restaurant until I go work my way through the menu and make sure that everything is really good. But I finally found something decent here, I think. With both good service and good food that serves it after 8 o'clock at night. It's an Irish pub of all things. I had fish and chips and they were phenomenal. Really good beer batter fish and chips, really nice French fries, and really great coleslaw. And I was like, yes, please sign me up. Please sign me up for more. And I since then returned to the same place and had a short rib French dip with tater tots. And it was fantastic. So I'm holding out hope. And if I go try like 5 more things, then I'll name it. I'll say their name.
When you do fish and chips, do you do the malt vinegar too and all that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. They had a northern fish and chips, which was beer batter cod, and they had southern fish and chips, which was catfish. They're like playing to their audience. And I was like, I like it. It's very clever. I like it. But I'm not eating catfish, but I liked the idea. So what about you, Melissa?
Well, let's see. I'm in a phase of life where I don't cook very often, but this week I had made myself a brunch, and it's one of my favorites, which is just diced pepper. So I buy our local grocery store has a a section where all the vegetables are already cut up for you. You just buy them already done, and that's one of my favorite things. So I buy the mixed pepper. So it's red, yellow, and green peppers. And sometimes I get the ones with the onions in it, but this time I didn't. But at any rate, dice them all up. I don't know the appropriate term, but I guess sear them. Like I put some olive oil in a pan. Yeah, saute, but it's on really high heat, so it's really fast. But where they get like just brown but not black, so there's a timing element involved in that. And then throw 2 eggs in there and scramble it all up with some sausage, and then put it in a burrito. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
With some shredded cheese on top. That's one of my favorite things. So I had that this week. And then my bonus thing was I redeemed my free brownie at Chick-fil-A for my birthday. There's something, the awesome. Chick-fil-A brownies are pretty delicious, but they're extra delicious when they're free.
When they're free. Yeah. That sounds incredible. It's making my
hard. I will say that they are good.
It's making my apple and yogurt less appealing this morning. But I'll give a quick update for the listeners. So I took this SNAP challenge that our guest Lindsay Ruffin was raising awareness for in the previous episode. And I think I'm $80 into my $160 for the month. But luckily for me, I had a really well-stocked pantry and freezer that I was already trying to work my way through ahead of a vacation in November. And so, but yeah, it's been apple and yogurt for like 8 days. But it's okay. Like it's a really healthy dose of perspective too. You can't be bored when you don't have money to buy something different. Right. But I made chili. I'm calling it chili-esque, you guys. I had almost all the right things to make chili. The key word being almost. So I made a pot of chili-like soup yesterday. I put a little corn in it. So it was kind of like a Cali Mex type chili, but I had this many Fritos left over. And
Melissa, putting corn. What's next? Putting beans in your chili?
I did put beans in there. I did. That's why I'm not calling it chili, but it's like chili-ish soup. I wanted something warm and comforting, and I'm doing this challenge and really trying to like play by the rules. In my particular situation, I could have gone out to eat if I wanted to, but I didn't. So I
guess what you're saying is that the chili that I make that has 7 different kinds of beans in it is not really chili.
It is. I just like to heckle
That's Texas chili, but
that's one of our running jokes, along with pineapple on pizza. Those are the 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No pineapple on pizza. No, that's a hard no.
It's good though. It's so good though.
I always feel like there's just a little bit of sarcasm in that one. I don't even know if it's still acceptable or not. That's how much we joke about it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't care. Well, today, for those of you listening and watching, and thank you so much for doing so, this is our 2nd ever fan feature. And Melissa Thomas listens to the podcast, and we really appreciate that. She even shares posts from time to time, and she won a cookbook giveaway once. That's what you can do if you just follow directions and share the posts. People get on it. But today, Melissa's going to share with us what she ate on a recent trip to Scotland. So, Steve, have you been to Scotland?
No, I think we're
Me
talking
neither.
About next year. Fingers crossed. So
yeah. Well, kick us off, Melissa. Tell us about all the amazing things.
Highly recommend the trip to Scotland. So we went in August, and it was our family vacation, and it was our first international. Well, I say big international trip. Last summer we went to Canada for a day. And I know that Canada is international, but since it's, we kind of just hopped over from Maine. It was a big international thing. But anyway, so this was our first big trip across the pond. Let's put it that way. And we primarily went to Edinburgh, Scotland, to see the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo. That's the whole official name, which is basically a parade of bagpipes, which is phenomenal and fantastic. And you can YouTube all the videos, and it's very awesome to see live in person. One of my rules, so I travel frequently, and then I do solo trips, and we take 2 family vacations a year. So one of my rules when I travel is I only eat at local restaurants, and I only eat local cuisine because I can eat, at a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A or a Wendy's or wherever, or any of the other chain restaurants. I can eat anywhere that at home. And so when I go other places, so I am fortunate that I have a friend of mine who lives in Glasgow. And so I messaged him, and of course, doing research about the trip to find out like what is local cuisine in Scotland. So the three main things are Cullen skink, haggis, and then there's a dessert called sticky toffee pudding. So I was like, okay, well, the dessert is definitely a thing.
You had me at toffee.
Yeah, right. Sticky toffee pudding. How bad can that be? And then but I will say that I was very hesitant about, number one, trying haggis, because I made the mistake of looking up what it was. And then the other thing was Cullen skink, just because where we live, a skink is a lizard. So I was kind of like, I'm not sure if it's like a lizard soup or whatever it is. So, but I was determined to try it anyway.
I'm not gonna lie, I've always wanted to try haggis. So my interest is very piqued right now. Like I want to know all about it when we get to it.
Yeah. So one of the things about eating haggis that I was told was to go to a local restaurant and order proper Scottish breakfast. That's what it's called. And you can get a big proper Scottish breakfast or like a small one. And proper Scottish breakfast is it's basically the haggis, but it's also another type of sausage patty. And it's also, it says on the menu bacon, but in Scotland, bacon is a piece of ham. It's not really bacon. it's just a big piece of ham. And baked beans, which I've never had baked beans for breakfast before. I liked baked beans, but having it as part of a breakfast is something new. So they bring everything out on this platter. I will tell you that haggis is delicious. There is nothing like, even though I looked up how it was made and all that kind of stuff, it's like so it's sausage, but it's mixed with different grains basically. And so it's got like I would describe it like if you mixed oatmeal and grains and sausage all together. That's what haggis is. And it's really, really good. I had it. I actually ended up having it twice while I was over there.
Whoa.
I know. So I was like, hey, this proper Scottish breakfast thing is pretty good, So and then I also had what they call haggis bonbons, which is deep fried haggis.
What?
2 thumbs up.
Haggis tots.
Right.
Sounds amazing.
Served with whiskey mustard, which is whole grain, what I call deli mustard. So it's the grainy mustard mixed, and they mix whiskey in it. Now, I was just as an aside from whiskey, I'm not a big drinker, but we went to a whiskey tasting, and then we had whiskey again at one of our dinners at a restaurant. I do not like whiskey. I was 0 for 2. However,
you could have brought it back for me. I would have
drank. The whiskey mixed with the mustard, and you dip the fried haggis bonbon in it. Absolutely delicious. And then one of the restaurants we went to, so it was myself and my husband and my son who went, and we all ordered different foods, and then we also all ordered different desserts. And so we all tried each other's foods. And one of the restaurants we went to, my husband ordered a chocolate. It was like what we would call like a chocolate lava cake. It was kind of like that. But the lava was whiskey and chocolate mixed together. Again.
Sign me up.
Wow.
Like not a big fan of whiskey by itself, but if you mix it with chocolate or mustard, I'm all over it. It was fantastic.
But just not chocolate and mustard.
Right. Yeah. Let's not. Yeah. That's a little crazy. Yeah. So let's see. I'm looking at. I have a whole list of things that I want to make sure to talk about. So, so when we, just in case no one has ever done a across the pond trip, we flew on American Airlines, and I will say 2 thumbs up for the food. I mean, I was I made sure that we each brought snacks with us to eat on the airplane, and we ate before we got on the airplane just in case the food was bad, but the food was really good. And I don't want to say they fed us constantly, but I mean, literally they fed us constantly. Like, I mean, every time, I was trying to take a nap or watching TV or whatever, they were always rolling the carts up and down the aisle. So
it's been like 20 years since I flew across the pond, so to speak. And I think that it wasn't quite a red eye. No, it was kind of a red eye. I think that somewhere around 2:00 in the morning, we got like I can only describe it as a nacho tray with like a plastic film wrap, the cling wrap on top, and it came from their little like that heated cart or whatever. Right. And at 19, obviously, I thought this was like I was just living the dream. Right. But I'm pretty sure it was just like chicken, potatoes, and gravy. But I was a broke college student, and at the time, I thought that was the most incredible thing I'd ever had on an airplane because all I'd ever had before that was peanuts.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I understand it's come a long way.
Yes, it was very good. What's that, Steve?
They've definitely stepped up their game.
Yes, for sure. And
I know when you're flying domestically, you have to pay for stuff a la carte, and the little charcuterie board that you can buy for like $11 is not terrible.
Oh,
it's usually what I end up with. So
yeah, no, that's good to know. So we had pasta. So of course you get a choice of pasta or chicken. So I chose the pasta. It was just pasta with red sauce. I mean, it wasn't anything to kind of write home about, but it wasn't awful. I mean, the pasta was well cooked and the red sauce was fine and whatever. And then for the breakfast, we just got a yogurt and a fig bar and some granola. So it was just kind of light, light breakfast, but it was like, again, it was airplane food. One travel tip that I'll share, because I learned this on the flight home. When you buy your airplane ticket, according to the lady who was sitting next to me, because, strangers are just friends I haven't met yet. So sitting next to me on the airplane, she told me she and her husband were both lactose intolerant and gluten free. So they had to special order their meals. And so when you buy your airplane ticket, apparently if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can click on a link that opens the menu and you can choose your own meals. And she said the nice thing about that is that if you choose your own meal, you get served first, because they bring out all of the specialty meals first before they serve the rest of the airplane. So I was like, you know what? Next time I go across the pond, I'm going to check into that, just because I don't have any dietary restrictions, but it just would have been nice. Maybe there was another option besides chicken or pasta that I could have picked, so I kind of look into that for next time. So, so airplane food was fantastic. We didn't get off the plane hungry, which is always a good thing. One of the, I'm just looking at my list here. Oh, one of the things that I had, which I don't know why I don't eat this at home because it's delicious. One of the we ate lunch at Edinburgh Castle, and one of the things on the menu was salmon on a bagel with like some spinach and other like microgreen type things. And I was like, well, that's like, I don't normally eat salmon, but that's not okay. Delicious. Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know why I don't eat it here at home.
Was it smoked salmon?
It was smoked salmon. Yeah. Yeah.
I love smoked salmon.
It was really, really good. Highly recommend it.
Did it also have cream cheese?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the picture of it. I have to. Yeah, I'm gonna say probably, but I'm not sure. But it had it on an everything bagel, and it was really good. One of our favorite food things that we did was a visit to the Chocolatarium. And the Chocolatarium is just kind of how it sounds. It's a museum of chocolate, basically. And you go in as a little group and you get a whole history of chocolate, especially in Europe, and the cacao bean and how chocolate is made and all that kind of stuff. And I love that, because years ago I went to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I went to Hershey World, and they do the kind of the same thing, like the history of chocolate and all that kind of stuff. And so part of the tour is that you get to taste different chocolates from not only different regions of Europe, but from like all around the world. Like they have little samples that they give you, and you can taste the like super, super dark chocolate all the way up to like the milk chocolate, and taste the different just taste, just see how they taste different and all the things that they're made. And then we had cacao, like the like it's like a hot chocolate type drink.
Yeah.
So we had that, which was very good. And then the final part of the tour was that you get to make your own chocolate bar. So they ask you if you want dark chocolate or milk chocolate, and they give you, like, they have little jars with all the different ingredients and little molds, and so you make your chocolate bar. They put it in the fridge, and then by the time you're done with the tour, they're all set, and they wrap them in little bags for you, and you pick them up on your way out the tour. And that was a really cool thing. The make your own chocolate bar was very cool.
So what did you put in yours?
Oh, I put like 7 different things, like basically everything that I could. So I like like nuts and chocolate chips and stuff like that. Like they had like dried fruits and things like that, but I don't like that kind of stuff in my chocolate bar. So I just put like whatever. I think they had like pecans and walnuts and all peanuts and all that kind of stuff. So I put them. Maybe they may have had like some I think they had like some candies of some sort. I'm just trying to remember. I'll have to look at the picture and see, because they have a thing on the card where you can write down what you're putting in the chocolate. So yeah, but I put a lot of different things.
I probably would have put a tiny bit of every single thing they had.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Steve?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know what to.
Oh, you broke up, Steve. Say it one more time.
I probably would have put chocolate in my chocolate.
I'm a big texture person, so like I don't find myself eating a plain chocolate or like plain ice cream very often. Like it has to have like crunchies and sauce and like little things in it. I don't know. It's not really no shade to anybody who likes just like vanilla or chocolate. I just need like texture. I'm a texture fiend.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
It has to be like a crushed little pretzel or nuts or something like that.
Right. So then the other cool thing about the Chocolatarium is that they have a gift shop, obviously, and there's like chocolates. Just it's a small little place, but they have one whole wall is just all. I mean, whatever can be covered in chocolate or made with chocolate or whatever is all there, and it's just very cool to see like all the different chocolates from all over the place and what people, I think like one of the I don't know if it was there, but one of the things I think about is like the oranges that are covered in chocolate. Like I'm not a fan of that, but I'm like, oh, somebody thought to cover an orange with chocolate. So that was very interesting to do.
So it looks like here they have the tour that you took. They have a truffle making experience, and then they have a chocolate and whiskey tasting, and they have a chocolate and wine tasting.
Yeah, so we just did the basic tour.
I think I would have to make a day out of it almost. Yeah, dude, that sounds incredible.
Yeah.
But you also have me thinking about how I'm going to make chocolate lava cake with whiskey in it.
Yeah. The icing had the whiskey in it.
I don't even need that in my life, but like I want to make.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good. So yeah, and then I had there's a gelato place, so of course I had to have some gelato, and I'm just trying. Oh, so I talked about the haggis. I wanted to go back and talk about the Cullen skink. So Cullen skink is basically potato soup. That's basically what it is, and it's got I think it has fish in it too, because it was, if I remember it correctly, it was created in Cullen, and I don't remember exactly why it's called skink, but it's meant to be a hearty soup, and that's exactly what it is. And I don't know how it's made, but it was really, really good. But it's basically a potato soup. So don't let the name Cullen skink like scare you like it did. Like I was kind of like, I'm gonna try this. When we went to the restaurant, I was like, I would like the smallest bowl of Cullen skink that you have, because I just literally want to try it and see if it's good. And I wish I had gotten the bigger bowl, because it It really was very tasty. It was very tasty. Yeah. So everything that we ate was absolutely delicious. I mean, we did, there wasn't anything that we chose off the menu that we were like, we're never eating that again. And even so my son tended to eat more of the like American type food. He was like, I'm not trying any of that Scottish food. I'm like, whatever, like it's your, you can eat what you want. My husband had fish and chips at one of the restaurants, which he said was very good. And all the other things that he had, but I stayed more alongside of making sure that I ate, very traditional Scottish food. So that's where we got into eating the Cullen skink and the haggis and like the sticky toffee pudding. And it was all delicious.
You both know that's the only way that I like to travel, is like I want to taste what the locals are eating. I don't want to eat the the tourist food,
Right. And we ate in local restaurants too. So the apartment that we stayed in had a concierge. And so I had done some research ahead of time, but also when I got there, I called them and was like, we need lunch and dinner places. Like, where do you recommend that we eat? And then, I just kind of looked them up to make sure that they were like original, not original, but they were like not chain restaurants. Like local taverns and stuff like that. So one of the local taverns we ate at was called Tolbooth, and it's I think it dates back to like the 17 or 1800s, but It was the original toll booth for the city of Edinburgh. And then it's been a couple different things over the years, but it was just kind of cool to, walking into a place that, is, 200 years old is kind of a cool thing. It's got a really cool history to it. And the wait staff, everybody was very kind. And, just in general, everyone that I spoke to that were native of the area were all very kind. And, of course, as soon as I open my mouth, they know I'm American. And so I'm asking questions, whatnot. And so because there's not, even though the obviously they speak English there, but it's the vocabulary is the only thing that's different. So sometimes I have to use context clues to figure out what a word means that they say that I didn't quite understand. But generally speaking, the only thing was that, and I think it's just because of the accent, I felt like they all spoke super fast. And so 90% of the time I didn't understand what they said the first time they said it. And so I would say, I'm sorry, please say that again. And what I thought was pretty amazing was that every single person would repeat what they said, but they would say it slower, but in a kind way, not in a sarcastic way, like not in a American didn't understand what I said, that kind of thing. Like they really kind of take time to speak a little slower, because there are the way they accentuate certain words, and then, like I said, also the vocabulary is you have to think really hard sometimes, having conversation. So
I love that was your experience. I think sometimes people are intimidated to go to a place they've never been to. And, if you're going to England, if you're going to Ireland, if you're going to Scotland, it might seem like it's not way, far off from American living, as it were, because there's so much like globalization. But I think that people have a similar hesitation if they're going somewhere that's completely different, right? If you're going to South America, maybe even somewhere in the Caribbean, or if you're going to somewhere in Africa or Asia. And I just think it's just really important to keep an open mind and just try to immerse yourself. And unless it's one of the countries we're currently doing dirty, you're not going to run into a lot of generally, like, human beings are good,
Right. Yeah. And then, I mean, that's my mindset when I travel, because like I mentioned earlier, I do a lot of solo travel, and I've solo traveled for years. And one of the things, so New York City is one of my favorite places to go, and I try to go there twice a year. And every time I go, people always say to me, oh my gosh, New York City is not safe. I'm like, really? Because I just got back from 8 days there, and I was totally fine by myself, or they'll say the people in New York City are so mean. I'm like, no, when I was there in September, I learned the subway. And every time I was trying to figure out which subway car to get on, I asked, who I thought was a local person. I've gotten pretty good over the years of trying to pick out from a crowd, like a local, versus a tourist. And every local person that I've talked to, they've all been super friendly and super helpful. So I'm like, if you go into a situation, regardless of whether you're going to Scotland or New York City or wherever you travel, with the premise that people are generally good, then I feel like the universe is going to align with you with that and only bring good people into your life, and there's a fine line between, there's a healthy sense of like, I don't want to say being afraid, but being cautious, I guess, obviously when I'm walking out by myself, I don't have my earbuds in, I'm paying attention to everything that's going on around me. I, try to pick safe routes to walk and all that sort of thing. But there's also, there's a healthy level of that, but it's more so tempered with the everybody is good and, like nobody's out to try to get me or, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And and our trip to Scotland was a great example of that. I mean, everything from arriving to the airport all the way through, all the stuff that we did and walking around and all that. Now we went, Steve, you mentioned that's on your list. So we went in August, which is the only time you can see the military tattoo, but it's also the Fringe Festival, which means it is the most expensive time of the year to go. Just a heads up on that. So if you don't have
August.
if you don't have an interest in the Fringe stuff, in the Fringe Festival or going to the tattoo, do not go in August because it is the most expensive time to go. And luckily for me, I had a friend of mine who was raised in Edinburgh, and she had told me that, like, she had always talked about the tattoo. But then she also says, but if you go, you just need to know that it is the most expensive time and everything is more expensive. I mean, we got a great deal on the flight over there, but the like our apartment was expensive. All the food is more expensive. I mean, just everything across the board. So I would not recommend you go in August unless you want to go for the Fringe Festival or the tattoo. You go any other time during the year.
Noted. Steve's noting it.
Noted.
I know, I'm putting that on my phone right now.
So
what was the weather like while you were over there?
Oh, it was perfect. So we had so it rains a lot. So one of the things that I read in my research was that you could literally have like all 4 seasons in one day in Scotland, and it can rain at any given moment, and it can be hot at any given moment, and then it can be
Florida.
cold. So I was like, okay, so we packed winter gear, we packed rain gear, we packed, we packed all the things. It only was sort of drizzly one day, but it wasn't drizzly enough to where we felt like we had to do all indoor activities. Like it was, we could kind of manage it, so we didn't have any days where there was like driving rain where, we felt like we needed to go to a museum for the day. It was, I would say like mid 50s, 60s at night. And then during the day, it was like 70-ish. The other thing is that in Scotland, they don't have air conditioning. So keep that in mind because it's
off the list.
Yeah. Because I'm a huge fan of air conditioning, and the time of the year that we went, at nighttime, it was fine because we could open the windows and let the cool air in. Yeah. But unless so we stayed in an apartment that was a converted apartment. And so because it was an old building, there were no screens on the windows. And nice. I thought that was a little odd because I'm used to opening the windows and having screens, but apparently that's not. But, it's not like we had like bugs and birds flying in the window all the time. It was just an odd thing that there were no screens on the windows. So we, but once you open the windows with the cross breezes, it cooled everything down fine. So most of the time I wore, I have travel, I don't know what they're called. They're pants, but they're not jeans, but they're not sweatpants. They're like an in-between type of thing.
That's cargo pants or something.
Yeah. So I have those kinds of pants, and then I just layered, like I wore a t-shirt. I had a t-shirt and a sweatshirt and a light raincoat. And then if I was cold, I put the layers on. If I got hot, I just wore my t-shirt, and it was totally fine. Yeah. Totally fine.
Nice. I love that. Stephen, did you know Cullen skink, according to the old internet, is usually made with smoked haddock and potatoes and onions and a heavy cream. Like,
yeah, it was so good.
Please count me in for
Yes.
It says sometimes perch or salmon are used, but that it's a local specialty from the town of Cullen in Moray on the northeast coast of Scotland, and that it is so well regarded that it's usually the starter at formal Scottish dinners. This soup.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that, but yeah, I just knew that it's a very popular dish there. So
it says, quote, it's smokier and more assertive than American chowder and heartier than classical French bisque. And in 2012, The Guardian said that this milky fish soup has surely replaced haggis and porridge as Scotland's signature dish. So it's a big deal. You didn't even know how big of a deal it was.
I didn't even know it was a big deal. I just knew it was on the menu. Yes. So it was.
Colon, I wasn't like typed, several things into Google, not knowing how to spell it because I'd never heard of it. And I was like, oh, colon. It's like the Twilight last name, colon. C-U-L-L-E.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Cullen skink. Yes. So, and I would say a chowder is a good way to explain it. Chowder as we know it. And then definitely, yes, the smokiness of the fish that they used. I'm going to say they probably used, what was the first fish was haddock. That was probably what was in it. But the smokiness definitely came through in eating, and they serve it with a little side of like whole grain bread. And it was just really good. Good stuff. Good stuff.
It sounds so good.
Yes.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, so did you drive everywhere? Did you have someone drive you? I mean, because I know they drive on the other side of the lane.
Oh, yeah. We decided that it was probably best for the people of Edinburgh that we were not driving. And so we opted not to drive. So that's something that, that's something that I have learned in my travels is that I would rather stay in a central location and walk or take public transportation everywhere than have to worry about driving and parking and all that kind of stuff. And yes, the fact that they drive on the other side of the road there, I found it very disoriented. Like there were times where we were walking where I had to look away from the traffic because it was totally like messing with my orientation and everything, because it's really weird to look up and see what we would think as the passenger, who is actually the passenger. The passenger in the car is sitting in what we think is the driver's seat, and they're like head down in their cell phone. And I would be like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "Oh no, that's right, they're the passenger because they're in the wrong." So it just is. I found it very disoriented. So we took public transportation everywhere. So what I did was using the concierge at the hotel as a source of information, I hired a car service to pick us up from the airport when we arrived, because our flight there was an overnight flight. We were arriving at 7:30 in the morning. I wasn't sure how, not oriented, but how awake I would be to try to figure out transportation at 7:30 in the morning in a foreign country after flying overnight. So I was like, you know what, the easier thing to do, even though it costs a little bit extra money, is just have somebody waiting for us at the airport when we get there. So that was fine. Makes sense. So we did that, and then on the way home we used Uber because by then I had been there for a week and we had figured out the transportation options and whatnot. So we did Uber on the way back, which was fine, but we walked everywhere. I mean, we did probably 20,000 steps a day, because where we were staying, and we were mostly, all of the things that we were doing were in Edinburgh proper. And so we could just walk everywhere. And then when we went to Leith, we went to the Royal Yacht Britannia, which I highly recommend. We took the double-decker bus because we could have walked, but we were like, but the double-decker bus sounds much more fun. And everything is easy, right? You literally just put Apple Pay on your phone, and when you get on the bus, you tap your phone and it buys the ticket, and then you get on the bus. And we told the driver, like, this is the stop that we need to get off, just to make sure we were getting off at the right stop. But yeah, because it's we don't have double-decker buses here, so it's kind of a cool thing to sit on top of the double-decker bus. The views are great, and you can kind of just see, have it. For us, it was to have a chance to sit and not have to walk so much. But it was very cool. Yeah. So walking, and then when I went to Glasgow, I took the train from Edinburgh to Glasgow, and that was also a very simple thing. Like I would just walk up to the window and tell them I need a round trip ticket, and the round trip ticket, even though they give you, I learned this after the fact, even though they give you a time, like your ticket is time stamped. So let's say I wanted the 9:00 train to Glasgow and the 3:00 train coming home. I could have taken the 10:00 train or the whatever. Like they're just concerned that you have a ticket, not really exactly what time you got on the train.
So you have options.
You have a little bit of options. Yeah. So that was
Cool.
very cool. And just walk to the train station, get on the train. The Scottish countryside is very beautiful. So it's just look out the window the whole time and see, it's literally rolling hills and sheep. I mean, that's so it's when you think of Scottish countryside, and you're like, yeah, rolling hills and sheep, and then you're like, oh look, there they are right there. So it's very cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
Steve's wheels are turning. Steve, when's the trip?
I don't know, sometime next year. I
He's
think.
doing it. He's like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. I
So-
already got my passport lined up, so we're good.
That's good. That's a good first step.
So Melissa, what was the furthest you ever vacationed growing up?
Well, I probably Florida. Yeah, probably Florida, because so I grew up in upstate New York, and then I moved to North Carolina when I was in the 6th grade, and my grandparents moved to Florida. And so we used to drive from either New York or from, I grew up in the Raleigh area. So we would drive there and go to Florida, for a week to visit my grandparents. And that was probably it. I didn't really do a lot of traveling off the East Coast until I was probably in my early 20s, started traveling more around the United States. So,
yeah. So were you like an adventurous eater growing up? Did your family cook anything new? Was it all like the same stuff? Did you really have to break out of your shell and try new things as an adult, or like, what did that look like?
Yeah. So I remember growing up, because we did the same thing with the boys, like whatever plate was put in front of us, we had to have one bite. I mean, and then if we liked it, we liked it. If we didn't like it, we didn't like it, that sort of thing. So I grew up in the, there's food on your plate and you will eat it. You don't leave the table until all the food on your plate is gone, that sort of thing, all the way to like, okay, if you don't like it, you don't have to eat it. And when our boys were growing up, I always taught them, if you don't like what I have cooked for you, then you can go make yourself a sandwich, or you can have cereal. Like, I'm not going to be a short order cook, so you're going to cook one meal for the family. And then if you don't like it, you're on your own type of thing. But I grew up in a very stereotypical Irish Italian family, so most of our meals were centered around pasta. So some form of pasta. So.
So then when you were on vacation, did you find yourself eating pasta or straying away from the pasta?
No, I actually don't eat as much pasta anymore, but that's mostly just because my dietary habits have changed. Like, I have to, I'm at the age where my metabolism doesn't work as well as it used to. So I eat more protein, less carbs, but I mean, I still love pasta, but I just don't have it as often. But when I travel, like obviously when I go to New York City, I'm always having pizza. Like I don't care that,
right.
I don't care.
Calories don't count in New York City when you're on vacation.
Right. Vacation calories don't count. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So,
calories period on vacation.
Yeah. There you go. 100%. And, so yes, I would say it's really been more as I've gotten older that I've been more willing to try different foods and, kind of get out of a rotation of eating the same things all the time. Some of that was, during the pandemic, we went through all of the meal kit delivery service things because my boys were at the age where they were just learning how to cook. And that was an easy way for me to sort of teach them by literally handing them the recipe card and say, follow these directions like that. It was just, and I'll be here to answer questions, but, because there were things like, like if they were making a pasta dish and they had to dice up vegetables for like a salad or whatever, it doesn't say in the directions you can dice the vegetables while you're waiting for the water to boil. So like one of my sons was like standing at the stove waiting for the water to boil, and I was like, well, what else do you have to do? And he was like, well, I'm waiting for the water to boil because that's the direction. I was like, right. But to expedite the preparation of the meal, you can do multiple things. You just can't leave the stove. Like there's a counter right next to the stove for a reason, and that's where you cook your vegetable. So little things like that. That's not in the written directions. And so what I did with that was a lot of the meal kit delivery services, you can go in and pick your meals, or you can just leave the subscription open and they just send you whatever happens to be, on their menu for the week. So we did a lot of that and just introduced us to a lot of different cuisines and a lot of different things to eat. And that was a real simple way to do it because you literally get in the box enough for one meal. Yeah, that was my dog. she's chiming in.
I was like, either that was your dog or it was my stomach. But
no, that was the dog. That was the dog. And so just as I've gotten older and and traveled more, and really just, I don't remember when I made the rule of when I travel I eat local cuisine, but doing that sort of thing has really opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And most of the things I end up liking them. So
yeah. So then when you're at a new restaurant, a local restaurant, do you try to find like the most interesting thing or something that would kind of align with what you normally eat?
Yeah. Do you stick to the familiar thing, or do you like go try to find the craziest thing if you're trying a new spot?
I would say probably try a mixture of both. So I find myself ordering appetizers. So a lot of time instead of like a full meal. So a lot of times I'll do like an appetizer that I'm 95% sure I'm going to like, and an appetizer that I'm 95% sure that I probably won't like, but I'm going to try it anyway. And that way, at least that way, if I try something I don't like it, I have something that I know I'm going to like and I'm going to eat, because I hate wasting food. I just absolutely hate it. And so I try not to go like too crazy, because if I don't like it, I know it's going to go in the trash, and that bothers me, that it's just going to go in the trash. So one of the things that I've realized, though, especially traveling to New York, the portion sizes are absolutely huge. And so for me, even if I order off the appetizer menu, I could get 2 meals out of it. But a lot of the times when so I usually, in order to save money, I usually will eat breakfast at the hotel and I'll eat dinner at the hotel, or I'll stop by the grocery store and get like pre-made wraps or whatever that I can keep in the refrigerator at the hotel, and I eat lunch out somewhere. Well, if I'm eating lunch out somewhere, I'm usually eating lunch and then going to a Broadway show, or eating lunch and going to a museum. So I can't really take the leftovers with me. And that's always kind of bothered me, because I'm like, well, if I do eat all of this, I'm going to feel awful because I've eaten too much food in one sitting. But if I don't eat it all, then it's going to go in the trash, and that bothers me. The trash. So one of the things that I read, and I'll do it on the next trip, because now that I know better, I'll do better. One of the suggestions that was made, there is a very large homeless population in New York City. And one of the suggestions that was made on this Facebook page that I'm in for traveling to New York City was, when the food arrives, you automatically portion off what you're going to eat. And then the rest of it, when the wait staff comes back, you ask them to put it in a to-go box. And on your way out the restaurant, you just hand it off to a homeless person. And the person that was talking about this was like, I did this the whole week that I was there. And every single person that I handed them this, to-go box of food was so thankful that they, that we did for them. And I was like, you know what, that's really a good idea, because then the food's not going to go to waste, and I don't feel so bad about, and then I'm not overeating also. So it's kind of a win-win. Yeah, it's a win-win situation for sure. So
when we go traveling, we do the same thing. but we walk everywhere. So I try to fill up as much as I can without getting sick. And whatever's left over, it'll go to someone who needs it,
Right.
I love that. I'm at a different space in life. I would say probably 2 years ago, it was the goal to eat as much as I could, let it settle for a little while, and eat some more.
Right.
I can't do that now.
Yes.
And so I find myself ordering smaller portions, but I also find myself ordering off the kids menu these days.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The portion's small and it costs less. But I know why, some business owners are like, no, like I think by law, they can't tell you that you can't, even though you're an adult. But I try to make it worth their while. Like if I go to Texas Roadhouse and I order a kid's meal, I will add a side onto it so they can get a little bit more money. And then I'll order like a cocktail. So I know that they're getting like revenue.
Right.
But sometimes the Happy Meal is the perfect size.
Right. Exactly. So
I don't know. I can still eat quite a bit, but you're right. It's about portion control, things like that. And, again, we burn it all off by walking everywhere. We just recently went to Philadelphia, and I mean, there were days where we had like 20,000 steps and things like that. So.
Oh yeah. Did you go to that market in Philadelphia, the food market?
Oh yeah. That's
always. I've been there. That's a great place.
At least once.
Yeah, we're gonna recap that next episode.
That's fantastic.
We're recapping that and my trip to the North Carolina State Fair.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Did you eat fair food?
all the fair food, and it was
all the fair food. That's fantastic.
Fair. It was fair.
That's awesome.
So, well, Melissa, we've had a blast talking to you. Why don't you plug all your things? And I did a horrible introduction. Tell people who you are and what you do.
Okay. So I'm Melissa. I'm a travel writer and essayist. And basically I travel and then I write about it. And my hope is to inspire and encourage and motivate other people to travel, especially if you are a solo traveler and especially if you are a female. And as I run into a lot of people, especially my age, that are like, I'd love to go to these places, but I'm so scared to go by myself. And I want to help people kind of get over that fear of going by yourself. And then also, to not be scared to try new foods. I mean, we were like 100 for 100 on everything that we ate in Scotland. There was nothing that we didn't like. So we got very lucky with that. But, especially as I tell people, like with haggis and the Cullen skink, they don't sound great, and don't look up how haggis is made before you eat it. Be much better off, because believe me that it's very, very tasty. And then just to try things, I'll take that back. Like the whiskey, we were 0 for 2. My husband and my son, the whiskeys that they had, they liked them, but I'm just not a big drinker, and so especially with liquor type things. So I didn't like the whiskey, but I tried it, and so at least I can say that I tried it and I didn't like it, instead of just saying no right off the bat. So my website is melissaspage.com.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. There hasn't, I can't say that there hasn't been anything as rewarding, because I have like a wonderful family, a bunch of friends, and a really great career too. But I will say that I've had a lot of rewarding experiences traveling alone.
Yes.
So I totally get it. I love the idea that you're giving that confidence to people. That's an amazing mission. So, and you guys should follow her on Substack. She writes really great stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, well, Steve, Melissa, we got to go.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I got to go have lunch.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Stick around for a split second after we stop recording. But yeah, everybody out there, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Go try the new food. Go to the new place.
Yes.
Go live your life.
Go have the experience.
And share that with us.
And make sure you tune into the next Food for ThoughtCast. Bye.
That's great. Bye.
That's a wrap for today. Until the next episode of the Food for ThoughtCast, make good food, eat good food, share it, and be kind to one another.
Thanks so much for listening today. You are part of what makes us special, and we are so glad you joined us. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. just like food, delicious podcasts are better when you share them with others. Come back for seconds wherever podcasts are served, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Food for ThoughtCast.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Food for ThoughtCast or at www.foodforthoughtcast.com, where you can link to all podcast players, or you can send us an email at foodforthoughtcmc@gmail.com.